Let's talk about the story for a moment, because something is not adding up. There is so many questions that needs answers. Stephanie Terungwa was an Abuja youth copper who was said to have gone missing on the 14th of April 2022. And just earlier today, the 28th of April 2022, it was announced that her body was found somewhere in Lokogoma in Abuja. Now, this is where a lot of people are having issues with this story. Stephanie, who is a youth copper, was said to have attended CDS on the 14th of April with her 1-year-old child. After the CDS, she was supposed to go back home. However, she never made it home. Now, that is as far as we know. We don't know who she stays with in Abuja, if she lives with her parents, or if she lives with a partner or a relative. What we do know is, it was on the 14th of April that she vanished. However, we, the public, only got to hear of her disappearance on the 27th of April 2022, nearly 2 weeks after she vanished. That is to say, she vanished on the 14th of April, but it was announced to the public that she was missing on the 27th of April. And this is the part a lot of people don't get. How can a youth copper go missing for 2 weeks, and her disappearance is only being announced nearly 14 days later? And just a few hours after we found out that she was missing, her body was found. They did not find her body all the while. All the 2 weeks she was missing, they did not find her body. But the moment the public got to hear of her disappearance, few hours later, it was then announced that her body had been found, which is a little confusing for a lot of us. Why was her disappearance kept on the low for that long? Who was in charge of passing this information? And why did it get to us 2 weeks after? Now, it's important to also know that her child was found alive. Within the 2 weeks when she went missing, I'm sure her family were also, looking for her. Maybe quietly and silently. Eventually though, the little child that she had, the 1-year-old child, was found and brought home. Whereas she wasn't brought home alive. Following the discovery of her body, it was also announced that her vital parts were mutilated, which is fueling the speculation that she was used for money rituals. At this point, not much information is given regarding the investigation going on, but according to the NYSC official page, the police has launched an investigation to find the perpetrators, to find the people who did this to her. Aside that, we really don't know so much. But this is what I think could have happened. Because it was first announced by her uncle on social media that Stephanie was abducted with a 1-year-old child. For the uncle to use the word abducted, it clearly means that there is a chance that she might have been kidnapped by a group of people who might have been also requesting for ransom. And I'm guessing maybe the family kept it low because, that is what you do if somebody has been abducted and the kidnappers are demanding money. It's usually kept on the low. So I'm guessing that could have been the reason why it wasn't announced at the initial time, or why it took so long for us to hear about it. And maybe they paid a good amount of money to get the child out, because there is no details as to how the child was found and how come she wasn't found. Because the uncle said later the child was found. Where was the child found? How was the child rescued? Who found the child? Was the child found on the road by strangers? Because I believe anywhere they must have found the child, the mother wouldn't have been so far along. So with that, I kind of want to believe that this must have been a ransom issue. I don't think it's money rituals. Because when I saw the picture of her deceased body, it did not look like anything was cut off. They said her private areas were the ones cut out, but her chestal area wasn't cut out. And it was said her body was found fully dressed in her NYSC uniform. I don't know how they would have cut out any part of her body without undressing her. And I know a lot of money ritualists these days, they go for the head or they go for the bosoms. Her head was not decapitated. Her bosoms were intact. So it's unclear which part of her body was cut out. And that is why I don't think this was money rituals. And again, if this was money rituals, I don't know why the ritualists would have let the baby go. Because you all know that these ritualists, they go for babies a lot. Another thing again was the condition of her body. From the pictures that I saw of her body, it did not look like she had been dead for 2 weeks. It, however, looked as though she was just recently killed. And it's almost as if the people tried as much as they could to disfigure her face so she won't be easily recognized. Apart from the discoloration on the skin, the condition of her body seemed very fresh, which might mean that the killers may have seen pictures of her disappearance going around and could have prompted them to kill her. Again, this is just what I feel, because the police are not giving us any detailed information regarding how she was kidnapped, found, or even killed. I feel like whoever might have been behind this travesty must have been targeting her for some time. I'm sure she must have been followed all the while she was doing her NYSC. I'm sure the person must have followed her to know where she passes and where she comes from, what time she closes from the CDS. I'm sure the people who kidnapped her or who had a hand in her death had been monitoring her for a while, and there is a chance that she must have even run into them a few times. In situations like these, I would check the driver. Since she's a mother with a 1-year-old child, I'm sure the last thing she would want to do is jump buses and taxis. So maybe they should check if she has a designated driver or someone who specifically comes to pick her back home to and fro. It's just an unfortunate event, and we are hoping that the police do a thorough investigation to unravel this tragedy. Because more than anything, a lot of NYSC members will be afraid. I'm sure a lot of coppers are scared right now because they don't know who is next. So let me know what you guys think. I would like to hear your thoughts regarding this issue. Do you think it's suspicious that she vanished on the 14th and it was only publicly announced on the 27th? Do you think this is a case of money rituals, or do you think this is a case of kidnapping? Let me know what you think.